You can start saving money on as few as 100 copies, and orders for 1,000 copies or more are as low as 2.2 cents apiece. And by using our multiple original discounts, you can save even more money. We offer same-day service for offset printing, and we'll even do them while you
down the stretch, protect our lead with free throws.
Okay, keys to for Lima Central Catholic today. Number one key, I think, is rebounding. We don't have the size to match up with Youngstown. We have to get them off the boards and get our share of rebounds. The second key, I think, is for us to apply pressure to that team so that they have to use the whole court. And the third thing is to push the ball in transition as much as possible so we can get our speed into a game. It's a classic matchup of size versus speed.
The flow continues into the only venue that high school basketball fans really care about this final Saturday in March, St. John Arena, here in the campus of Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio. Sports Channel, we welcome you to our Division III state championship battle. Cinderella, if you will. The Fighting Irish of Youngstown Ursuline, 16-10 overall, against the Rockin' and Rollin' Thunderbirds of Bob Sagerson, Lima Central Catholic, at 26-0. Good to have you along, everybody. I'm Michael Regai. I talk about Cinderella and Youngstown Ursuline. Are they going to be fitted for the glass slipper? We're going to find out. They're going to have to get through a squad that is making their third straight trip to the state tournament, only school in the state to do that in quite some time. And also, they've been ranked #1 in the AP the last couple of years. I'm talking about the T-Birds of LCC. Let me show you how both these ball clubs get here to this state championship battle in D3. Youngstown Ursuline, they come through the regionals by beating Youngstown Mooney, and then they get into a rather ugly one yesterday, but managed to sneak out of here with a 38-36 win over a 25-1 team of Indian Valley. Lima Central Catholic by 8 yesterday over Bloom Carroll to stay undefeated and to reach this championship contest. Please say hello to my telecast partner, Bill Needle. I think Bobby Sagerson said it all at the top of the show. Classic battle of size against speed. Let me ask you this about Youngstown Ursuline. They're the Twin Towers, Joel Howard, Larry Sinvisky. They got enough to keep the quick guards of LCC away from the bucket?
One thing you have to remember, Michael, whether or not the advantage exists to the LCC guards or the big men from Youngstown Ursuline. Sinvisky changed the game yesterday. He took away the paint from Junaid and Hutton Indian Valley, and no player this weekend has changed the game the way Larry Sinvisky changed the game yesterday against the Indians.
Oh, he was magnificent. He had 8 blocked shots of the 11 that the Irish rung up. Now, when you talk about the whip-it-quick backcourt of Lima Central Catholic, Mr. Basketball, Aaron Hutchens, he got in foul trouble yesterday, but Salento Bodie put on a show in here that everybody was just raving about in the semifinal win.
As is so often the case, when the big man goes out, somebody has to step in. Salento Bodie, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 steals, and no turnovers in 28 minutes. He's only Sergeant Friday because it rings a bell. He should be General Friday as far as I'm concerned.
Mitch Cerny and his Cinderella Ball Club of Youngstown Ursuline against Bobby Sagerson and Lima Central Catholic. They lost the state final in '89. Is this their year? Don't go. We're going to find out. We tip it up next. The T-Birds of LCC and the Fighting Irish of Youngstown Ursuline. D3 title on the line. It's next on Sports Channel.
As manufacturing jewelers, we at Bonds frequent Antwerp's world-famous diamond cutters, personally selecting the diamonds that Bonds' own manufacturing jewelers will set into our fine jewelry. In Antwerp's many cutting facilities, we inspect diamonds as they are cut and polished to make certain they measure up to Bonds' exacting standards.
At Bonds, we import our diamonds direct and pass the real savings on to you.
Wednesday on Turning Point, Bob and Jennifer are joined by head coach of LCC, Bob Sagerson.
In March, we have crowned 2 champions already. Time now to get a third Division III state championship on the line. The only ball club undefeated in the state of Ohio, the T-Birds of Lima Central Catholic, against those you see on your screen. The Fighting Irish of Youngstown Ursuline, Mitch Cerny's club, and they lost 10 times during the regular season, but I tell you what, 8 of them were to Division I and Division II squads, and all of them were by less than 8 points. All right, let's take a look at where both these ball clubs reside from around the great basketball state of Ohio. Over in the eastern edge, Bill Needle, hard by the boundary of the state of Pennsylvania, the city of Youngstown. So many athletic talents out of that city in years gone by in this tournament.
Gives you an idea of how strong the basketball is in the Youngstown high schools. They were playing against another Youngstown school for a trip to the Columbus to the finals here in Columbus.
Swing it over, take a look at Lima Central Catholic, of course, out of Allen County, up toward the northwest part of the Buckeye State, if you will. Lima Central, as we talked about, Bob Sagerson and his crew, the athletic director, Rich Stolle, no stranger to what's going on at Final Four time here in St. John Arena. Bob Sagerson, you get a look at him in his 16th season, has rung up some impressive numbers, and you won't find a better tactical mind on the sidelines in the Buckeye State than that smiling fella right there. I've known Bobby Sagerson for a long time. Bill Needle has always impressed me as one of the best bench bosses in the game.
There have been people who have asked Bob Sagerson whether or not the fabulous Thunderbirds have something to prove, Mike. And he says, no way. What do we have to prove? We have nothing to prove. The last 3 times his teams have been here to St. John Arena, they have lost to the eventual state champions. They lost to Fort Loramie in '93. They lost to Berlin Highland in '92, and they lost to one of the great Whirly teams in 1989. No, I think they have nothing to prove.
You're right. Mitch Cerny in his 4th year at Youngstown Ursuline, 49 up, 42 down. But of course, this year, as we said, he may have lost some tough ones in the 10 setbacks they had during the 93-94 campaign. But yesterday, they showed what they were all about. They beat, in many people's mind, with Lima Central Catholic, the other premier ball club in the state, Indian Valley. As we said, it wasn't real pretty, but bottom line showed Ursuline and Mitch Cerny with that 38-36 win.
Those lights on the scoreboard that indicate the score are either red or white, Michael. It doesn't matter how pretty the lights look as long as your team has got the bigger number.
Youngstown Ursuline dropped from Division II to Division III this year. As we mentioned, though, they loaded the schedule up with Division I and Division II power. As a matter of fact, Bill, out of that Steel Valley Conference, again, we know they only went 1-7, but you're talking about playing the Boardmans, the Moonies, the Warren Hardings. If you're a hoop fan around the Buckeye State, you know what I mean. Strong basketball programs always.
And it's also interesting, Mike, to note that Youngstown Ursuline lost 3 of their last 4 games going into the tournament. There are times when coaches will say, yes, we had a rough time early in the year, but we were able to get it together, and we were playing well going into the tournament. Mitch Cerny can say, well, we lost 3 out of our last 4 games before we started the tournament. Since that point, they have not lost.
Their football squad was a regional championship contender this year, and as a matter of fact, you're going to see a young man here on the floor today that quarterbacked that football team, and certainly has done the same yesterday. A lot to do with what Youngstown Ursuline accomplished down the stretch. Jerry Howell, a very talented young man that comes off the bench of Mitch Cerny. Lima Central Catholic, as we talk about again, in here at 26-0. And let me repeat it. I think it bears repeating. They're the only undefeated ball club in the state of Ohio as they came in here. They still are. They were a year ago. But they got beat by Fort Loramie by 1, and it ended their dream. You know, Sagerson and the T-Birds would like to turn that around today.
It's also important to keep in mind that they are also the only #1 team in the final AP poll to still be alive. Division I, Division IV, those teams gone.
Yeah. All right, let's give a listen to the 10 young men that'll start this one as we go across the floor at St. John Arena in Columbus.
6-foot junior, Jason McCray. At guard for Lima Central Catholic, number 10, 5'8" senior, Salento Bodie. At center for the Fighting Irish, number 50, 6'6" senior, Joel Howard. At center for the Thunderbirds, number 42, 6'5" senior, Dave Williams. At forward for Ursuline, number 35, 5'11" senior, Ryan Bada. At forward for LCC, number 32, 6'2" junior Shea Thompson. At forward for Ursuline, number 30, 6'6" senior Larry Senvinsky. And at forward for Lima Central Catholic, number 40, 6'2" senior Ben McPherson.
So there you have it, the pregame ritual. Both ball clubs, we've seen this all weekend long here in St. John. You got to get on the floor and bond together in order to have a chance to get a win out of here in 32 minutes.
But I want to know how they choose the guy who is like the source of the energy.
Yeah.
There's always one guy that gets at the bottom of the pile,
Right.
and I want to know if they've got some kind of psychic that decides that this is the person that everybody should touch because he's got all of the positive karma.
I don't know, but Billy Peak is the guy that was designated for Youngstown Ursuline, and Peak, of course, came off the bench in the semifinal win to provide some rough and rugged minutes for Mitch Cerny.
Well, maybe Ursuline hopes that they can peak at the right time.
Yes, and this would be the time, seeing it's the final contest in Division III in this 93-94 campaign here in the state of Ohio. Oh, yeah, you know the T-Bird fans are ready to go. They're seeking a state of Billy. This has been a run that they've had their hearts broken, as we said, the last 2 years, and even back in '89, fourth time in the last 6 years that guy, Bobby Sagerson, has his program here.
There were 3 teams that made back-to-back trips this year. Alter is gone, Cleveland Heights is gone, and the last back-to-back returnee, Lima Central Catholic, there in the white jerseys.
Dave Williams wearing the colors of the T-Birds in that center circle, along with big 6'6" Jerry Howard. We're on go, Division III state title. Watch the whip-it-quick backcourt of Lima Central Catholic. Aaron Hutchens and Salento Bodie.
Aaron Hutchens, 26 points a game, but the thing to keep in mind, Mike, he does that on less than 15 field goal attempts per outing. That is maximizing your opportunities.
Bobby Sagerson told me the other day that he plays within himself in this system so well. Never a problem with this young man that came down here wearing the label of Mr. Basketball. This is Salento Bodie. What a primetime performer he has been all year long. Shea Thompson. Thompson, lights out shooter and scorer, can get him in bunches for Lima Central Catholic. Hutchens, Bodie, Thompson. They're the 3 that do about 90% of the scoring for this ball club.
You'll notice that Hutchens' skills are such that they allow him to play all over the floor. He ostensibly plays out on a wing or in a corner as if he were a forward, but because he's so quick and so skilled, he can get away with that.
Aaron lifted his first 3, running it right back for Youngstown Ursuline. Jason McCray. McCray off the glass and down. 6-foot junior on the board first. Thompson will go tripling. Ran down baseline by LCC's Dave Williams. Bodie had it rerouted by Jason McCray. Just underway. Youngstown Ursuline on the board first on the McCray deuce. LCC with it.
Youngstown Ursuline in a man-to-man, 25 green. Brad Miller has a sprained right ankle. He's going to be matched up against one of those whippet guards. We'll see exactly how Brad Miller's ankle holds up.
Shea Thompson in rhythm. That's money for him when he gets spotted up like that. Never saw a shot he didn't like.
And of course, it was Brad Miller who was guarding Shea Thompson, and he just couldn't get out far enough to get a hand in his face. Perhaps the ankle is bothering young Mr. Miller.
So Shea Thompson rings it up for the first time for LCC. Trying to run through the paint. Ryan Bata got out of control. Bob Sagerson wanted to walk. The officials say, no, we're going to stay Green's way of Youngstown Ursuline.
You can see the compensation that Mitch Cerny has done in terms of his defensive matchups. He wants to go man-to-man, but he doesn't know which is the proper Firebird for Brad Miller to guard, so he's got him on a forward.
Larry Zenviski will step out and drain a big triple. 8 blocks on the defensive end, showing you his offensive prowess early on.
Larry Senvinsky can shoot the ball from outside. Yesterday nailed a pair of triples that made a difference in the victory over the battling Braves of Indian Valley.
Ursuline by a deuce, 5-3 early on. Happy you're a part of it on Sports Channel. Hutchens to tee it up. Mr. Basketball in the Buckeye State, off 0 for 2 early on.
Jason McCray gets a lot of rebounds for Youngstown Ursuline.
McCray ran it up off the window. Look at big Joel Howard trying to clean it up. Off Howard's thigh and out of bounds. Let's go back LCC's way.
Bad game for Joel Howard yesterday, Michael. There you see Mitch Cerny. The only thing we can say about bad game. Going into yesterday's semifinal game against Indian Valley, Joel had only one game in single figures. Yesterday, he was only able to come up with 4 points and 7 boards.
Jason McCray on Salento Bodie. This young man right here with a basketball, he runs everything going that LCC orchestrates. They love to go back door off that when Bodie reverses the dribble. That time, though, Ryan Batta, in the scouting report of Youngstown Ursuline, had Aaron Hutchens in check. Hutchens going to lift the deep three. Aaron's off slow at zip for 3. And going over the back for LCC is David Williams, a 6'5" senior. He's a physical banger inside. Got hit with that personal foul.
Well, we call Senvisky and Joel Howard the Twin Towers, but one thing to keep in mind is that when you've got two big kids like that, opponents are worried about keeping them off the glass, and it allows players like Jason McCray to come in to rebound. Yesterday, McCray had 11. He's got a couple already today for the Youngstown Ursuline Fighting Irish.
Greg Miller on a strong run to the hoop. The reach-in is going to come from LCC's junior forward, Shea Thompson. He got hit with a personal foul. It's number 1 on Shea.
Well, we'll find out that the offensive end, the ankle doesn't hamper him that much. Miller able to reverse his dribble, beat Bodie. The reach-in there by Shea Thompson makes the difference. But on defense is probably where you're going to find difficulty as far as Brad Miller is concerned. He knows where he's going on offense. It's the defense. It's the adjustment and the reaction that'll make a difference on that sprained ankle.
Miller at the line, looking to complete the pairs. Bob Sagerson takes a look at his ball club. You see the Miller numbers dishing off the basketball, better than 2 a contest. Brad Miller rung them both up. Youngstown Ursuline off quick and off solid. They lead by 4. Salento Bodie with the speed will push it back for LCC.
But Jason McCray, the man who's guarding Bodie man-to-man, is a track man for Youngstown Ursuline. Question is he a sprinter or is he a middle distance man?
Well, you better be a sprinter if you're going to deal with Salento Bodie. See, not many touches for Williams and McFerrin. Hutchens will explode, got it up on that square, and do the Larry Zenvisky whack that sends Aaron Hutchens to the line.
Difference between Aaron Hutchens is his body control. Takes the pass from Williams. Watch him extend. Watch him hang. He leads and makes the body contact with the middle part of his body. Yesterday, Larry Zenvisky swats that shot. Today, Aaron Hutchens is able to draw the foul.
Yeah, that's 5'10" against 6'6". You look at Mr. Basketball in the state of Ohio, glittering numbers. 2-time Northwest Ohio Player of the Year, and he's going to play his basketball for ball club that just got knocked out of the NCAA tournament, the Warriors of Marquette. Now, whether Kevin O'Neill is there or not is another story.
He may be Tennessee Walton.
That's right. So we'll see. But right as of now, Aaron Hutchens is going to be a Marquette Warrior. Probably take over for the Villa Angeles St. Joe grad who's been so big here at tournament time, Tony Miller.
You can see them letting Jason McCray handle the ball, which takes the defensive responsibility away from the quick guards of Central Catholic and forces a slower man to guard the Ursuline point guy.
That's a tough fade from the baseline. Joel Howard couldn't find it. T-Birds of LCC with the basketball. Chance to tie. Maybe take the lead on this trip. Thompson's going to get hit for a walk. Tried to put it on the deck and go through the paint and shuffle.
Possession basketball is so very important in a state final. You'll find out that the unforced errors that cost you opportunities to score often make a difference in the outcome.
Checking in the basketball game for the T-Birds of LCC. Big 6'6" sophomore, only 15 years of age, Matt Bonito. Got some size, got some muscle. Figured we'd see him early to deal with Howard and Zenvisky.
Matt Bonito may not be as skilled as Howard and Zenvisky. He, too, has got a rough assignment. Third-team All-Ohio and Joel Howard.
That lob on the block from Brad Miller got away from Larry Zenvisky. Turnover. Look at Bodie explode to the hole and finish.
With the left hand. A lot of players will come open and shoot the ball, twist their body, try and spin it in right-handed. Salento Bodie with the left, the way you're supposed to do it, like they teach you in the camp.
Excellent interior dish to Ryan Batta, but he had it slapped out of bounds by the very quick hands of Mr. Basketball, Aaron Hutchens. Think about Hutchens, plays both ends of the floor. Watch him.
There you see the penetration from McCray. Hutchens right on it, all leather. The flip side of this matchup is maybe Brad Miller may not have to guard Mr. Basketball, but Hutchens is not going to be touched on defense having to guard Ryan Batta. He's going to have a little bit easier time of it.
Miller's deep triple didn't go. Jerry Howell is checked in for Youngstown Ursuline. How about the steal from Jason McCray on Salento Bodie? And we're going to go Youngstown Ursuline's way. That's magnificent anticipation from 6-foot Jason McCray to rip Bodie.
And thus far, the choice by Mitch Cerny of matching up McCray, who is stronger, who is bigger than Brad Miller, is paying off because Salento Bodie, by this time yesterday, was already in double
He had
figures.
exploded and taken off. Zenvisky had a grab baseline. The foul is going to go on Lima CC's Aaron Black, the 5'10 senior, who was checked into the contest replacing Shea Thompson.
If Larry Zenvisky could put the ball on the floor, given his ability to elevate, given his ability to shoot from the outside, he might be a little bit better player. Thus far, he's only shown the ability to spot up and shoot the jumper.
Zenvisky going to look at a three. Look at the ups of McCray. Goes sticking it down off the window. Great hops on Jason McCray.
Yesterday, it was the athletic ability and the aggressiveness of McCray that made a difference. He had 11 rebounds yesterday. You saw another one with a putback just there.
9-7 Ursuline by a deuce. Salento Bodie trying to orchestrate the ship of Bob Segerson.
That's a box and one that Ursuline's playing with Jerry Howell on Aaron Hutchens.
Hutchens went hard through the paint, lifted it, and is going to go to the line.
Specialty defense, especially when you put it in the first time, a little bit difficult. There you see Jerry Howell got caught out of position behind Aaron Hutchens. He penetrates between two players of the Youngstown zone rather than the three that would have been there if it was a basic 2-1-2.
Hutchens curled off a stacked baseline. Look at him float and fill it up. So good going from the baseline back through the paint to finish it off.
You don't have to be a big man to play inside. Aaron Hutchens does it with quickness. Some players do it with size.
Tied at 9 apiece. Brad Miller now and Jerry Howell. Here he is, number 45, the quarterback of the football squad at Youngstown Ursuline. Joel Howard got a wide open look and drained it.
Joel Howard shoots 60% from the floor, and if they're going to continue to give him 10-footers in the middle of the paint dead on, Joel Howard is going to score.
Ursuline by a deuce. Bodie almost lost it. Hutchens bailed out his backcourt pal. All right, now Jason McCray is winning the individual battle with Salento Bodie. If he does that all day long, I guarantee you, Youngstown Ursuline's right there to win at the end.
Ursuline's doing a good job of changing defenses each time down the floor. Now they're in a basic man-to-man. They showed the box and one to Aaron Hutchens, just enough to make him wonder what adjustments they're going to have to do with it. Then they go back, and they go back to a basic man-to-man. Bill Peak into the game for the Ursuline Fighting Irish.
Also back is Shea Thompson for Lima Central Catholic. As you look at Ryan Batta, Batta checks back in, giving Larry Zenvisky his first blow of the afternoon.
Larry Zenvisky had the flu on Monday and Tuesday of this week. He may not yet be completely healthy.
Teeing up that long triple off that back iron. Aaron Black and Joel Howard will secure it and start Youngstown Ursuline into the offense.
So far, the edge goes to the big men of Ursuline over the guards of LCC.
Ursuline by a deuce, 11-9 and with it. Howard's going to raise up. A little too hard off that back iron. Look at Jerry Howell in traffic. Had it stripped away by the battling Shea Thompson of LCC. Black wanted to go to Big Matt Benito. He had it slapped up on that window by Joel Howard, but we got a whistle that'll send Benito to the line.
Matt Benito just about to reach into his pocket to get another dime to put into the parking meter. He's already been in the lane about 5 seconds by the time he gets hit in the elbow with this pass. Matt Benito to the line. Nope, out of bounds.
Well, they called it a common foul on the floor. That's a third-team foul on Ursuline. Now LCC with about 70 ticks left in the first quarter. Hutchens so hard to the hoop. Joel Howard said, "Get it out of here, little man." The Mr. Basketball laurel is not impressing Joel Howard.
He must not have read the papers.
Guess not. Inside 60, Ursuline by a deuce. Howard wants to take Benito. Benito came up with a basketball after it rolled up the leg of Jerry Howell. Bodie watched the quicks. Had it picked away, Howell. 2-on-1 run out. Howell got it up on the glass. Batta got blasted from behind by Shea Thompson. Batta's going to go to the line.
Jerry Howell is a good athlete. Jerry Howell is not as skilled a basketball player as he is a football player. Jerry Howell, however, is always around the ball making things happen. There you see him out on the run out. Youngstown Ursuline's ball. But Jerry Howell yesterday, clutch drive, clutch free throws. They win by 2, does Youngstown Ursuline. There you see Jerry Howell. Without his contributions yesterday, Youngstown Ursuline is watching this one on Sports Channel.
Benito and Thompson, and not a bad thing to do, I might add. Of course, they'd rather be playing, obviously. Benito and Thompson go down on Bob Sagerson's Lima Central Catholic bench. Couple of starters, Ben McFerrin and Dave Williams back there. You see Sagerson. He and his staff trying to figure out what's going on at their offensive end of the floor. They have not been proficient early on. Jerry Howell missed them both. However, David Williams couldn't secure it of LCC, so Ursuline's going to keep it in their offensive end. This is Ryan Batta with the basketball. Batta, 5'11" senior from Mid-Cerny. McCray threw it away, but we've got a whistle that'll stop it out high, and that foul is going to go on Lima Central Catholic. Aaron Black got fingered.
I would imagine Youngstown Ursuline goes into Joel Howard every time down the floor because they just don't have the offensive weapons with Jerry Howell, Bill Peak, Ryan Batta in there at this point. Now they've got Brad Miller back in at the point, resting him whenever possible. I'd look for them to go down into the low post to Joel Howard every opportunity they get.
Well, they won the semifinal on the other end of the floor because they only shot 31%. Bodie had a hand on it. Got a whistle inside, and that foul is going to be on Lima Central Catholic 6'5" senior David Williams. I said he'd have to bang and muscle on Howard and Zendisky. Got nabbed with a whistle there.
Talk about contrasts. Joel Howard is a hurdler. How'd you like to see a 6'6" guy stepping over those hurdles?
Howard, very athletic, obviously. Just throwing it up on the glass. Brad Miller pulling it down for Lima Central Catholic. Ben McFerrin. Bodie's going to run out. Salento will cross over and finger roll it down.
Great court awareness by Aaron Hutchens. Throws the home run ball to his backcourt partner. Now the double team out there at the end of the quarter.
Miller tried to beat the buzzer. However, before he did, he turned it over. So it's going to go back LCC's way with .8. Now, I don't know if the officials are going to reroute this clock or not, maybe to 1-2 or 1-3. Probably not.
Brad Miller, a very intense young man. They're going to rest him now as he's replaced by Bill Peak. Another substitution for Youngstown Ursuline. Matt Benson, number 52, into the game in there.
All right, only 8/10, as you see, left in the first stanza. We're all knotted at 11 apiece. Well, this one has all the makings of one that'll go right down to the finish like our first two did. You hear the buzzer. That's going to do it for the first 8. All tied up at 11 apiece. Lima Central Catholic knows they are in a war with the Irish of Youngstown Ursuline. Don't go away. Get you back to St. John and Columbus as we decide a D3 title on Sports Channel.
I was calm about moving. Lots.
Cap off a perfect season and win a Division III state title. The boards go to Youngstown Ursuline in the first 9-5. Joel Howard will start this second by lifting up the jumper. As Salento Bodie's going to push out the other way. Hutchens got cut off, had to swing it the other side. On a run baseline, Matt Tabler's in the contest. Salento Bodie now trying to reroute traffic for Lima Central Catholic. Bodie had 4 in the first quarter play, and he had to really work for him. Hutchens to the rack and put it down. Just hangs there, Bill Needle, until everybody goes by and then sweet kisses the glass.
And because he is a smaller player, he's learned the little tricks that little guys have to learn early on in their careers, including throwing the ball high up off the glass where the big fellas can't get to it.
Jason McCray went hard to that hoop. The foul is out on the floor. And the T-Birds' Matt Tabler is going to get hit with a personal foul.
You're not going to get anybody too much more aggressive than Jason McCray, and there he goes. Aaron Hutchens slapped at the ball as McCray went through, and he'll go to the line. Yesterday, 6 points, 11 rebounds in 32 minutes. On the year, you can see the percentages and the scoring average.
And we were very impressed with Jason McCray yesterday. He always seemed to be in the middle of things. As you see, he's got the good body, well put together, very strong. And right now, he's accepted the challenge on the other end of the floor dealing with Salento Bodie. I admire him for that alone.
Well, you see what he did yesterday against Indian Valley. In the regionals, he averaged double figures, unexpected to be sure, as far as Mitch Zerny and Ursuline are concerned.
Whistle away from it. Going to go back Lima Central Catholic's way. Checking back in the contest, Shea Thompson for Bob Sagerson's T-Birds. You look at Mitch Cerny. Cerny, as we said, trying to fit Cinderella for the slipper. 16-10, started the tournament 11-10. Hutchens, does he want to take Howell with the rise up and rip middle of the paint? So tough to deal with.
Example of how much under control Aaron Hutchens plays. He faked with the ball and held his pivot foot. A lot of players we've seen this weekend would have dragged that pivot foot and been called for traveling.
Aaron Hutchens now has 8, starting to warm up a little bit. He can get him in bunches. Mr. Basketball. 15-12 as Miller goes to work. Almost put that down, but it wouldn't have counted. He got hit with the walk as he spun through the paint.
For a point guard, you might like to see him play a little bit more under control, but because Youngstown Ursuline, especially with Larry Senvisky on the bench, lacking in offensive weapons, somebody has to step in and provide him with offensive firepower.
They only shot 31% yesterday in that semifinal win. Hutchens going to lift the deep 3 and knock it out.
Aaron Hutchens starting to warm up. We wondered coming into today's game because of yesterday's foul play performance whether or not Aaron Hutchens felt as though he had something to prove. He's come out looking as though he feels he's got to show something.
Miller trying to answer Hutchens' 3. Sophomore Matt Benito will snatch it to start Bodie the other way. Well, here's where Aaron Hutchens can really throw him through the cords and droves on you.
However, he had the foresight to hold the offense up.
He's feeling it, lifted up about a 23-foot triple that was cleaned up and put down by Matt Benito, the 6'6 sophomore. Mitch Cerny said, got to stop it, got to talk about it. Don't want to let him run out, and we're down 8.
What they were hoping as far as the advantage that Ursuline had inside is not working out. They're scoring underneath as Lima Central Catholic. They're in the difference with an 8-point lead.
We'll come back to St. John and Columbus. Don't go away. LCC now going to put some distance between themselves and Ursuline as Aaron Hutchens goes to work, firing the basketball, and Benito cleaning it up. We'll be back.
At Lima Lumber, you can watch your ideas take shape with the Weyerhaeuser Design Center. This computer system can help you create your own custom deck, among other projects for your home. Come in with an idea, a few basic measurements, and our professionally trained staff will work with you.
Happy you are a part of a championship Saturday on Sports Channel. I've been telling you all day long, if you're a high school basketball crazy, it's the only place to be, either with us on Sports Channel, if you're not inside St. John Arena here in Columbus. Again, Youngstown Ursuline, just what they shot yesterday, still struggling at only 31%, and they throw the basketball away, and LCC is going to get it right back as Ryan Batta threw it by Brad Miller without anybody in Green's face.
Difference this quarter, you see it right there. 5 for 6, 83% from the floor for LCC. They each shot 36%, did Youngstown and Lima in the first period.
Larry Zenvisky, the 6'6 senior, wants to check back in. Zenvisky has been down for quite a while for Youngstown Ursuline with a couple of personal fouls. And Mitch Cerny knows we've got to get him back in. We're down 8 and struggling offensively. Shea Thompson with it. Hutchens will pop off a stack. Look at Hutchens change pace. They'll get a wide open look from 12. And knocking it home is Ben McFerrin, the 6'2 senior. Physical, doesn't like to shoot it a lot, but when you're that wide open, you got to lift it up. Speaking of lifting up, McCray went to the hoop. Jason will follow his own. Benito threw his shot back at him, but Matt Benito is going to get hit with a personal foul. It'll send Jason McCray to the line.
This is much like what happened yesterday. The aggressiveness of Youngstown Ursuline kept the ball alive on the boards. Their hustle got them offensive rebounds, and there were free throws yesterday that they shot that were simply a result of their own aggressiveness and hustle.
Jason McCray finally gets Youngstown Ursuline back in the books as they have been on the struggle, to be sure, offensively late. McCray hit them both at the line, so Jason has a total of 7 on the day. The lead is back to 8. Salento Bodie goes to kick it into high gear again as he races into the offensive end.
Too many people think that offense is simply a matter of scoring. Offense is also a matter of getting open. Notice how easily Aaron Hutchens gets the ball in the LCC offense to do what he wants to do.
Bodie and Hutchens. I know there's a lot of good backcourts around the state of Ohio, but if these two aren't right there with those that consider themselves the best, you've got a real story. Hutchens and Bodie play so well together. Aaron Hutchens gave Benito a look at the hoop, and Matt couldn't hang on to it at first. Joel Howard got a piece of it. McCray lost it. Run out LCC. Hutchens got it.
Aaron Hutchens, outstanding in the open floor, of course, but much of that fast break was made by the wings of the LCC fast break staying wide and forcing the defense to be conscious of them on the wide.
Aaron Hutchens has 9 points in the first 4 minutes of the second. He's got 13 overall. The lead is 10. Ursuline's got to be real careful at this juncture. Howard will raise up. Came up flat. Matt Benito's giving Bob Segerson some big minutes.
That was a concern, whether there would be a big man who could play on the glass with Ursuline, and Matt Benito could be the man.
Shea Thompson doesn't like to put it on the deck a lot. Rose up and drew some contact, and he'll go over the line.
The LCC offense gives Hutchens and Shea Thompson a tremendous amount of freedom. Here you see Thompson puts it down for one dribble. That's about all he likes to do as far as putting the ball down. He's fouled. But notice along the baseline in LCC's half-court offense, Aaron Hutchens gets the option to run up the paint off a screen, to come along the baseline and curl out off the screen. They simply set the trees up, and they let Aaron Hutchens and to a lesser extent Shea Thompson run in and out of the woods and to get themselves open.
And they do that extremely well. Shea Thompson, yesterday, you see the numbers, buried 3 triples against Bloom Carroll. Honorable mention, All-Ohio pick, 6'2" junior. He'll be back for Segerson to help keep the program very nice, thank you, next year.
You have a feeling that when the team comes 4 times in 6 years to the big show here in Columbus, the program is in fine shape. There's probably kids we're not looking at that will certainly be able to help LCC and Segerson next year.
As long as Bobby Segerson's at the helm, I guarantee you it is always going to be in good hands and rock solid. Whistle away from the ball. That foul is going to go on Lima Central Catholic's Ben McFerrin, that's 6'2" senior forward. That is team foul number 7 on LCC. And going the line of a big 6'6" Joel Howard. Howard, who is certainly a guy that you're going to have to deal with when you go to the paint, through the paint on him, because he rejects shots and he also alters shots too.
Joel Howard shoots 60% from the floor. And there he is at the line, 1 for 1. Undecided as a senior about what he's going to do next year. Certainly third-team All-Ohio credentials will attract the attention of a number of schools. Doesn't really know what he's going to do.
Had a rough one, as we said yesterday, only 2 for 11. Only played 16 of the 32 minutes. Look at Jason McCray battle, and he's going to go to the stripe. And reach-in foul on Lima Central Catholic is reaching in Matt Sapecki. Sapecki getting some playing time, the 6-foot senior.
We have seen throughout the weekend in the semifinals, as well as the 2 finals that we've seen already today, Michael, that there are players who are classic basketball players and they do things out of the textbooks and out of the clinics. Then there are teams and players, Youngstown Ursuline for an example, and Jason McCray, a specific individual, who scrap and fight and do whatever it is they have to do to succeed. They're not pretty, they just seem to succeed.
Jason McCray leading his ball club on this afternoon. McCray with 8, looking for 9. He's racked up half of them right where he is right now at the charity stripe. Give McCray 9. Lead back to 9 at 26-17.
Between McCray and Jerry Howell, they're doing a good job of keeping Salento Bodie from doing what he did yesterday, in part because of the physical nature of both Howell and McCray.
See how controlled within the framework of what LCC wants to do is Aaron Hutchens. We talk about Mr. Basketball here. He could have lifted up that triple, decided let's reset the offense and maybe get something better. Hutchens so quick. Excellent pass inside. Ben McFerrin just got hit with the offensive foul. Now let's check it. Just turned it over, and we're going to go Ursuline's way.
He is an intimidating presence as one half of our Twin Towers. Joel Howard simply took the vertical airspace above his head, made it difficult, resulted in a turnover.
McFerrin put that shoulder down. I thought they were going to nail him for that offensive foul. Brad Miller just bottoms out a triple that Ursuline needed in a big away from that right baseline.
They needed the points, and they also needed somebody to shoot from the outside to open up the inside for the big fellas. They have in dire need of outside shooting are the Fighting Irish.
Well, the 11-point lead has been trimmed down to 6. A little bit of a mini run, if you will, a 5-0 for Youngstown Ursuline. Inside 2:30 left in the first half of action. Glad you're with us this Saturday out of St. John Arena in Columbus on Sports Channel. Thompson thought about the triple. Miller got in his face. Bad pass, Shea Thompson. The quarterback, Jerry Howell, who's going to the Cincinnati Bearcat football program on the steal. Ursuline could get back to within 4 here with a successful trip. Howell looks at Thompson, takes him to the rack. Howard on the putback, got it with one coming from the line. Joel Howard so strong on the offensive square.
What had hampered Ursuline earlier is now becoming something they can count on. They need the follow on the offensive glass, and here you'll see Joel Howard. No one puts a body on him. He's able to get a clean glance at the rim, puts it down. He will try and cut the lead to 3 points with this toss.
This is an 8-0 burst right now for Youngstown Ursuline's Fighting Irish. They've closed to within 3. Bodie's going to push. Hutchens, look at the change of pace. Thompson in rhythm. That's going to be way off. Basketball on the deck. Bodies everywhere. Benito saved it, but Miller will corral it for Ursuline. Oh, the Irish supporters now wearing the green and letting their club hear about it inside St. John.
If Youngstown Ursuline can get one more offensive threat to allow Senvisky and Howard on the glass, and there he may be. How about McCray is exactly right, because the big fellas will be able to clean up and get the offensive rebounds and the follows if they can just get a third offensive threat to get into the formula.
I've kept you up with this run. Let's make it 10-0 right now. Hutchens will hang. No. Yanked down by Howard. By McCray, rather. Lead is only 1 for LCC. We're going to go inside 60 seconds on this trip. Howard. Whistle away from it. Matt Benito, personal foul. Joel Howard's going to go to the line. Moment ago, it looks like Lima Central Catholic's totally in control, just like we've seen in the previous 2 games. Big runs to get ball clubs back in, Bill Needle.
Youngstown Ursuline making the run the way they have to make the run. That's 3 on Benito. He'll be sitting, obviously, there's only a minute left in the half. He'll be out for the rest of the half. Ursuline making it up with their strength, and that is the size of Joel Howard and the size of Larry Senvisky. The fact that Jason McCray is able to provide them with the offense that he is makes it so much easier for the big fellas to do their work. Always need 3 men in that formula.
Couple of hits here from 6'6" Joel Howard. Youngstown Ursuline's got the lead. Won't happen on this trip. We go inside 60 seconds left. Hutchens trying to get ahead of the pack. Had it ripped away and stolen. Joel Howard had the hands on it. Jerry Howell will pick it off. Turnover, LCC. It's incredible. 10-0 run to put Youngstown Ursuline in a position to take the lead.
If I've got a chance to go up on the undefeated #1 team in the state at the half, I'm working the clock all the way.
Miller through the triple. McCray will bury the stick back. Jason McCray, very special in the first half. Ursuline by 1. 12-0 run.
The big men have an advantage over the LCC. Big men in size, and the guards of Ursuline are bigger than the LCC guards. There was an example of McCray going over the back of Hutchens because he's bigger.
9 in the second quarter, 13 overall for Jason McCray. Aaron Hutchens, Mr. Basketball of his club down 1. You see the game clock. Hutchens got to lift it. Isn't going to get it off. Didn't get it off. Jason McCray and Jerry Howell with the defense. Aaron Hutchens and Lima Central Catholic leave the floor stunned. They've been hit with a 12-0 run by the wearers of the green. Youngstown Ursuline. Oh, baby, we've got one happening. Ursuline by 1 at the break. Don't go. We'll get halftime activities rolling for you.